All right, another great week for silver, gold, silver miners, base metals. Yeah, silver winning and pulling away from gold here. And the silver miners, well, you can see the trajectory of those graphs, of those lines, up, up, and away. Even with a major pullback on Thursday, came back nicely. Right, guys, well, I would like you to enjoy the sunrise with me. I'm going to do a little fast motion here as we watch the sun come up over these beautiful mountains. I want to remind you to get over to Value Hunters channel for the Tomoko Enterprises charity fundraiser. Dean at Tomoko is like a father to many of us, and I'd like to encourage you to buy something at that auction and support our good friend. I think you know who I'm talking about. All right, and then we're going to get on to unbox a silver bar from Istanbul, of all places. Actually, it was a low premium silver bar, at least, well, it was cheap when I bought it. It's more expensive now. But just enjoy the sunrise and the hummingbirds, and I'll be right back at you with that unboxing. All right, now that Bonnie and I have enjoyed that sunrise, I want to show you something I bought just a couple of weeks ago. I picked this up from Monument Metals, and the price was $2.20 an ounce for a 10-ounce bar. I'm sorry, $22 an ounce for a 10-ounce bar. Very exotic, and also one of the cheaper bars on the market. Unfortunately, I had to pay the sales tax because I didn't want to buy, 8 of them. So let's take a look at this product from the Istanbul Mint in Turkey, or from the Turkish Mint, made in Istanbul, the Nadir bar. This has been around for a little while, but I think it's just being released in the United States. And here it comes with a silver certificate. NadirMetal.com, Turkey. Must have a serial number as well. So let's go ahead and, I may not even need to take the plastic off of that. Yeah, you can see that just fine. So there you go. Nadir Mint, I guess, is the logo. Nadir Refinery, Nadir Metal Refinery, I think that says. It's serialized, which is unusual for a low-priced bullion. 49 silver. All right, so here it is again, and I took it out of the plastic so you can see it. That's beautiful. There's the back, just a plain back. These are already quite more expensive, unfortunately, but very nice. Very nice. Okay, let's go talk about silver. Right, so let's talk about these markets. Let's talk about silver, gold, platinum, miners, and the whole 9 yards. Yeah, I'm still buying, and no, I am not selling. You may not know it, but overnight, a few nights ago, silver had some really violent moves, and I think it was a tell. So overnight, a few days ago, it ranged between $22 and $26, and then ultimately, it came up in the 23s and the 24s and so forth, was punched back down and came back up into the mid-24s yesterday. But I think that overnight action between 22 and 26 tells us that 26 is probably in our future. I think it's actually in our near future. So, I think you have to be prepared for silver to go down a little bit, but I think if we're in that 22, 24 range, I think we'll see 26 again. I really do. Now, what I'm doing, and I know most of you don't trade the paper, But the SLV, which I do trade, I did not want to sell it. I mean, it looked like it was going to roll over a couple of days ago, and sure enough, it did roll over. But instead of selling my position, I wrote covered calls on it for, I think, about the 8th time this year. And what happens when they drop is you're able to buy those calls back, and you make money on the call. You know, you sold it high and you bought it back low, but you've lost money on the underlying position. But if you hold the silver and then it trades back up again, then you can write the covered call again. And in that way, you know, if you don't think there's going to be an absolute crash, that you can just generate profit after profit from the volatility. So that's what I've been doing with the SLV. I've also been doing it with First Majestic. Nice big premiums on those calls. And if it goes nowhere, then you just hold tight until the out of the money calls expire with no value. You know, you get to keep all the money. So, you know, why do I think that it's going up from here? Why do I not fear the past? You know, all the old stackers will tell you, beware the dip, beware the smackdown. You know that it could go back down to 16 and stay there for 10 years. And, you know, experienced stackers know that's true. That was happening in the past. But I really, you know, with all my heart, do not believe that we are headed back down. In fact, I think we are headed in exactly the opposite direction. Fundamentally, there has never been a better reason to own precious metals. As you know, the dollar has been falling, and it's got the attention of the entire world and the stock market. And there's a reason they're devaluing the dollar. They want to devalue the debt and put the U.S. in a superior trading position. But to you and me, when we go to the grocery store and try to buy hamburger, when you go to Home Depot and try to buy lumber, or you need a plumber or something, that only means higher prices in fiat. But more and more people are catching on that, you know, you should maintain your wealth in stable assets. What is a stable asset? Well, you know what that is. So, yeah, I don't really fear the big smackdowns anymore. What I'm looking for in the midterm is 35. All right, I think we'll bounce around here between 22 and 26, and but ultimately I think we're busting above, and I think we're going to see 35. The silver miners have been, you know, performing unbelievably, as I think I've already showed you. So, you know, when the cost of production drops, when the oil price is low, like it is for silver miners, and when the spot price increases, there is a tremendous increase in the value of that going concern. So that's why I think the value of silver miners is going to continue to increase. I think right now they're probably a better bet than the gold miners. In the long run, maybe not. I think the gold miners have more, they're subject to less volatility, so they are a good long-term investment. But the silver miners, because silver is outperforming gold, and now by quite a bit, I think the silver miners will outperform the gold miners. So yeah, I don't really fear silver dropping back down dramatically. And if you agree with me, then you might wonder what the best way is to accumulate silver. If you've got a giant stack, I know it's hard to pay $30 for an American Silver Eagle. I won't. I'm not going to do that right now. But if you're just starting out, the best advice, you know, that you'll hear over and over again is average into the market. All right, don't make one big bet all at once, and then you can catch the drops. People hesitate to buy when silver drops $1 or $2, as we had just a couple days ago. Excellent opportunity for you new guys to get into the metals, the physical, or the paper. and excellent opportunity to get into the silver miners or the gold miners or whatever it is that you've been looking to acquire. You have to be willing to fall into that gap when the time comes. When there is a big drop, then I'd increase my allocation at that point, but I wouldn't shoot all my bullets. I would just plan to buy when silver is dropping, right? And then when it rebounds, hold tight, continue to buy if it isn't dropping at smaller amounts. But figure out how to average yourself into this market before we move up again. I do think that it is going to run away from people, and my prediction, which is really kind of a midterm prediction, is that spot is going to go to 35. All right. But when that happens, I think that premiums are going to go up, not down. Just like when we had a shortage of supply in March and April, I think we're going to have another shortage, partially due to demand being up, investor demand being way up, and partially due to reduced production on the part of the major mints. There's only 6 or 7 major mints in the world, and several have been shut down. I still haven't heard an update on the Mexico mint. Waiting on those Libertads, that I'm stalking. I gotta get my Libertads. So I think you could see both an increase in spot, and you could see an increase in premiums at the same time. And that's the reason why I wouldn't hesitate too long to get into, that's my wife's work there. I wouldn't hesitate too long to get into the metals if you don't have any. So there's my advice. Yeah, and in terms of the pandemic, of course, those who are compromised and elderly, they do need to be very concerned, right? Like Herman Cain found out. But for the rest of us, don't fear the COVID. Don't fear that. Fear the loss of purchasing power in your dollar. And I've never recommended having more than 10% of your assets in precious metals, although now I think I'm probably up to about 15% through appreciation. But, fear the loss of purchasing power. And if you're younger, I think you have less to fear because you're more likely to have that student loan debt extinguished than you are to lose anything, because as the price of things goes up, well, wages will go up as well, but probably not as fast. So they say, be sad for the future generations. Well, you know who they're really coming for to rob directly? People with assets and, net worth, older people on fixed incomes. If you're on a fixed income, I highly, highly recommend you get some of that money into tangible assets. And you can pick what those are. Of course, silver, gold, platinum. I like silver best, and I like platinum next, and, I like gold third, but I like them all. But you might want real estate, or, there may be another investment that is more tangible that will preserve your wealth. The fiat money is getting blown up. The dollar is on a straight march from 100 probably on down to about 85 or 80. And that means the privilege that Americans have enjoyed for so many years is being destroyed. I always thought that when we started printing money that the dollar would go up because I thought that other countries in the world would debase their currency at a higher rate. But, exactly the opposite is happening. We are debasing at the highest rate of all the countries in the world. And we are also providing funding to all the countries in the world. So right now, the United States and the Federal Reserve is actually bailing out the world at your expense if you have assets. If you don't have any assets, then I guess it doesn't matter quite as much. But you should be very, very concerned that your dollar will not buy what it used to buy. All right, have you been to the grocery store lately and tried to buy hamburger? Have you been to Home Depot and tried to buy lumber? This is why I'm investing in commodities, because those are real things that are going to escalate. You have a dog? You been to the vet lately to take care of that dog? How about fees, taxes, insurance, utilities? All of that is going to go up. So do protect the purchasing value of your fiat by having something tangible. And I'll tell you what else I've been doing lately, and this'll show you that I have changed my mind somewhat. You know, when Bitcoin first came out, I railed against it, like many physical stackers do. But I'm starting to believe that it is yet another asset class that you can diversify into. And I actually bought some the other day because I think Bitcoin will see 20,000 again. Not a big position, but the realization that the one thing you don't want is you don't want paper. You don't want fiat paper money. And even if you're in the stock market, guess what? You're in paper money. And the stock market going up is really only the antithesis of the dollar going down, or the converse, I should say. Because, so if you price the stock market in dollars, well, you got to take at least another 5% off the top, because that's how much the dollar has dropped. So you'll just be breaking even, in my opinion. And it still looks toppy to me, but could keep going up, I suppose. But instead of investing in, in high-flying stocks, I like the commodities better. All right, but yeah, when I think of silver these days, I think the bubble is coming. I don't think we're in a bubble. I think it's undervalued, but I think it could go into a bubble, and you want to get the base of your pyramid established. Think Tesla, think Bitcoin. There's all the fundamentals in the world to say that that could happen to silver and gold and platinum. All right, the sun is high in the sky, and it's time for me to get this video made and out to you. Don't forget about Value Hunters, Tomoko Enterprises charity auction. Bye, guys.